credits. The folks here are going to pass out this form. You need to put your name, address, and all this other stuff on here. I will mail you a certificate when I get back to Cleveland. So these will be coming around during the talk. Also, they're going to pass you a course evaluation. You're going to tell everybody how much you like me. If you like me, Jeff Dross, Kichler Lighting, LED. If you don't like it, my name's Bill Smith. I did a 4-hour presentation on tile flooring for you. And that was really a horrible presentation. So that will be going around. If any of you hold dual credits and you need NKBA certificates, I don't know if that's valid, this is a form that you're going to take before I leave here tonight. You need me to sign one of these for you, okay? So that's only if you're if you need NKBA. While he gets this started into, if you want to put it on that slide, I'll kind of give you a background on who I am. I was studying architecture, and Kichler Lighting called, can we go back to the beginning? Yeah, no. Kichler Lighting called the architecture school that I was studying at and said we need somebody to do some part-time drafting. If you have anybody there that might be interested in a part-time job, I was going to school. Everybody needs money when they're going to school, so I said absolutely, no problem. So I basically started at Kichler as a drafter. I know how to draft with a pencil and a scale and a triangle and a T-square. So there are a few of you in the room that might know what I'm talking about. When I graduated, architecture in Cleveland, Ohio was in kind of a bad spot. There wasn't a whole lot going on. Kichler asked me if I would consider working for them full-time. So I said yes. My life took a whole bunch of different turns. I started acting in local theater. I started directing. My buddy and I wrote about 5 plays. I learned how to sculpt. I learned how to weld. I learned how to blow glass. And I woke up and I said, holy, I got a career in lighting. This is not something that you really plan. And I have been at Kichler for 37 years doing this. I have to tell you that this is really one of the most exciting times that I have seen in lighting, because we are really going through an interesting revolution. So if you can't see the screen, move the chairs forward or readjust yourself or squeeze close to your neighbors. I'm sure that they'll be more than happy to accommodate. And if you have any questions, this presentation is close to an hour long. If you have questions, I will be more than happy to answer them, but just know that it's going to take up a little bit of time on the back end. So if you're shy, you don't really want to announce your question in front of your peers, I will stay here after until the folks here at Elements kick me out at the end of the evening. So I'll be more than happy to answer your questions later if we want to do that. So we just have to get this, this thing here. So today we'll talk about the history and the reason for energy efficiency, energy efficient lighting options, LED fundamentals, LED cabinet lighting. We'll talk about the financial realities of LED lighting.
Screen doesn't come on.
A little bit of advice on selecting cabinet lighting, and I'll give you a couple of pieces of advice on LED lighting. I guess maybe this is not going to too far away. So, who remembers writing current events reports in school? You had to go and cut out something from the newspaper. I'll tell you a funny story. I did this talk in Houston a couple of weeks ago at the Art Institute of Houston. A bunch of 18-year-old folks asked the same question. Nobody raised their hand. Nobody ever did a current events report. But apparently some of you are a little bit older than 18 years old, so that's a good thing. Well, I was doing, in Cleveland, there was a newspaper called the Cleveland Press. Page 4, there were a lot of little one-paragraph presentations, little articles. So when it was my turn to do that, I, of course, went to page 4 of the Cleveland Press, cut out a little one-paragraph article, did my talk, and all of my classmates in school, they, of course, did stuff about the war in Vietnam and the Johnson administration. But I gave them this one, these little one-paragraph. And I remember one specifically, not sure that I know why, but basically the article was saying we were running out of fossil fuel. In a certain period of time, we were no longer going to have any fossil fuel. So jump ahead, 18 years, and I'm in this line, waiting for gasoline. Just like I suspect a few of you are. I see a couple of nodding heads. You might be interested to know that this pump actually had a $3 limit. So couldn't even buy a full gallon today. The fact of the matter is, we are running out of fossil fuel. There is a finite amount of fossil fuel in the planet, and we are getting very close to that end. So as that supply starts going down, we have to find some ways to use less. The answer to that is to raise the price. And the cost of fuel is now going up continually. Right at the same time, Jimmy Carter, who was the president, went on national television, and he wore a cardigan sweater. First time the President of the United States ever addressed the nation wearing something other than a suit and tie. He had a cardigan sweater. He told everybody in the nation that he had just ordered that the White House be put down to 68 degrees. He told all of us to do the same, and he made this statement: the energy crisis is real, it is worldwide, it is a clear and present danger to our nation. These are the facts, and we simply must face them. A couple months ago, he made a talk, and he mentioned that he felt this was the most important speech he ever gave in his entire administration. He spent an entire weekend sculpting this because he thought it was that important. And what did we do? Basically, we ignored him. We didn't do anything. So what has happened? Gasoline over the last 24 months, I don't know what is happening here, but we were down as low as $1.40 a gallon, and we're getting back close to over $4 at this point. Natural gas, we have had some relatively stable natural gas costs recently, but we had a 28% increase between the 2.3 and the 5.6 heating season. These are substantial jumps in natural gas. If you think we're going to have this nice even cost for natural gas too much longer, you'll be surprised. I got something I can tell you a little bit later. Coal. Why do we care about the cost of coal? Over 50% of the electricity in the United States is generated by coal. So when the cost of coal goes up 16.5%, the cost of our electricity goes up in kind. All of this has happened at a time when inflation was less than 5%. So rather than, this is all coming out of our pockets, all coming out of our spendable dollars. We're not going to the movie as often, we're not going out to dinner quite as often. We've decided to donate some additional money to the utility companies. The other thing, we've had a lot of socioeconomic changes as well. We've moved from a northeastern-based population to a much more sparsely populated. We're moving into areas like Phoenix, Las Vegas, the Carolinas. So we're moving away from these certain centers of population and spreading ourselves a little bit thinner. The power moving infrastructure in the country is rapidly deteriorating. There are going to be billions and billions and billions of dollars required to repair this infrastructure. If we all decided to pool our money today, pull our money together and build a power plant, it would take us 14 years before we'd actually generate the first kilowatt of power. And it would cost a huge, huge amount of money. And all the while we've been doing this, we've been adding additional electric items in our home. How many people left your microwave oven plugged in when you left home? That 12 is still blinking because you can't figure out how to do it. It actually costs more money to run that clock than it does to warm up your piece of pizza. Now, you think you're not using that microwave oven because when you're not heating something up. You left your computer plugged in as well, right? Television's plugged in. All of these things are pulling electricity and we're not even using those items because you're sitting here listening to me. You decide whether that's a good idea or not. So the government has actually figured this out. It's one of the things that they have actually been proactive about. Just before he left office, George Bush signed a presidential executive order mandating that the federal government operate 30% more efficiently than the rest of us have to live. California, Washington, Nevada, Oregon, a number of states are passing building laws that are requiring energy